Welcome to the first meeting of the Montgomery County House Delegation during the 2025 legislative session. Before we get to our posted agenda today, we do have some special guests. I just want to give a few organizational remarks since this is our first meeting for this legislative session. So I'm Chair Julie Polakovich-Carr. Our Vice Chair continues to be Delegate Emily Shetty. And I just wanted to introduce a few key staff people. So our delegation administrator continues to be Ralph Costas. And we do have a delegation intern as well this session, Gabe Santiago. And I think he and Ralph have walked around to many of your offices in the last couple of days, but please do come by the delegation office. We continue to be in room 202 for snacks and to say hi. And then we, of course, have an incredible team of staff from the Department of Legislative Services that are really key to the workings of our delegation. So Jen Young continues to be lead counsel for our delegation. And then I think as folks have seen, we do have some staffing changes for each of our local committees. So for the Metro Washington Committee, John Edwards has moved to that committee to work for staff there. For Education, Elections, and Housing, we have Amanda Hunt. For Land Use, Transportation, and Public Safety, Samantha Fairbanks. And for Economic Development, Michael Cretin. So we're very appreciative of all of the DLS staff who help get all the amendments together and just help with the inner workings as we shepherd our local and bi-county bills through the process. So thank you all. So on our agenda today, we're very pleased to have Montgomery County Executive Mark Elrich and County Council President Kate Stewart with us today, and welcome you both to the delegation. So appreciative to have the opportunity to hear from you for a bit. And members, I'll say we'll take questions after both the County Executive and County Council President have had a chance to give their remarks. So Mr. County Executive, I'll turn it over to you first.
Thank you very much. And a great way to start the year, a little bit cold. We're not in our building right now because our building is really cold. So hopefully that'll be fixed this weekend. I want to thank you for all the work you did last year advocating for the county. We had a pretty good year, and we've had pretty good years over the time I've been an executive. So I appreciate all the work you do. I want to thank you for recognizing the value of investing in our strategic economic development, particularly two things: the Institute for Health Computing, which the University of Maryland's increasingly excited about because they are finding more and more partners, and this is building out the way they had hoped it would build out. So I'm excited about that. And also the bus rapid transit. Sooner or later, we've got to figure out how we're going to match the investments that Virginia's done in transportation. But we've continued to plug away at bus rapid transit, and you'll see more information on that now, but it's important for the county. I know there are no easy solutions for the problems that you all are facing. $3 billion budget gap is not a small thing. And, we're facing challenges at the county level as well. And then there are the unknown challenges. We're preparing a normal budget, but we don't know what normal is going to look like after the new president comes in. And we're definitely fearful of cuts to programming that we rely on from the federal government. So we'll see where that goes, and we'll have to make changes accordingly. I want to emphasize that we have really been trying to drive economic development. And I'll say one thing that I was very happy to see the governor make some really quick shifts after his economic report. We had raised with them the fact that the amount of support they can give the county to try to attract businesses is way below what other states do. We gave an example of a solar company we lost to Texas that would have been building solar panels in Montgomery County, but the state's incentives don't match what other states do. And the governor's seeming ready to take some steps to improve our economic competitiveness. That's exciting, and hope you guys can support those initiatives if they come forward. Big things for us are first and foremost PRT financing. State money leverages federal and local money. You can't get federal money unless we can show local and state matches. So what we get from the state is really important. We know that you're looking at how you're going to
Yeah, it should be on.
How you're going to redraw your transportation financing structure. And we know it needs to be overhauled. I've had some pretty strong views about that. I really do believe we need to mimic what Virginia's been able to do. They raise literally billions of dollars, or raised billions of dollars over the past decade, and we're just not able to do that. And this is not Virginia as Virginia. I'm talking about a couple of Northern Virginia counties. They continue to benefit greatly from the special taxing district structure they have, and Montgomery County could adopt that and still have tax rates below Virginia's tax rates, which I know is an issue that I think people, are interested in. BRT does help advance development and redevelopment, and it is, it is the most efficient, cost-effective way we can apply mass transit or bring more mass transit into the county. And also the Institute for Health Computing is going to continue to look for support. They're continuing to grow. They've already agreed with us that we're now going to open an AI incubator to go along with the health incubator. And they're willing to use the resources there to support AI companies that are looking to come to the county. So this is like an added win that we didn't originally anticipate. We know the blueprint is going to be a huge challenge. Obviously, you don't have the resources to fully fund this on the timeline that it was planned for. And hopefully people will figure out what the most important investments you can make are with the limited amount of money that you have. You're not going to be able to fund everything, but it's important. There are a lot of good things in the blueprint, particularly the child care piece. Hopefully we'll be able to make some progress along those lines. Just yesterday, the Washington Business Journal described Montgomery County as Maryland's economic powerhouse. I mean, we're getting recognized for the things we're doing, but we've got to be able to build on it. And it's important for us that we get the support to do that. We are in fierce competition with Virginia, who appears to be awash in cash with revenues more than $4 billion over their projections. And I understand that Maryland's problem was a little less on the revenue side and a lot more on the spending side, particularly for things that caught us by surprise, and probably things that Virginia's not doing. And that's part of the curse of trying to do good things. Sometimes they get expensive. We want to be partners with you though here. We want to make sure that what we do matches the work that you're doing, that you're clear about what we are trying to do and where we're trying to go, and that you can see in the work we do a reflection of the kind of values and goals that you all have. These are all our collective problems, and we just have to work together to solve them. We'd like to work together with you and figure out how we address some of the weaknesses that have held us back. Some of it applies to the state, and some of it applies, to the county as well. I don't know if you saw the rankings, for example, national rankings on transportation. Virginia ranks number 3, Maryland ranks number 34. And transportation is like underpins economic development. And so you can kind of see the difficulty with jobs has a lot to do with the lack of transportation in Montgomery County compared to the transportation that Virginia has. So there are models out there. There are things we have to work through, but I think it's imperative that we work through them. So I want to just let you know we'll be down there regularly, and happy to testify if you feel there's legislation where you want the county to come down and weigh in. Let us know, and we'll be sure we're there to testify in support of legislation you're bringing forward. And I'm looking forward to working with you guys again. Hopefully it'll be warmer at the end of the month and easier to walk around down there.
Thank you, Mr. County Executive. I too hope it warms up a little bit, although it's nice that we have the tunnels to get around between the buildings again this session. Council President Stewart, thank you so much for being with us.
Great. Thank you, Chair Polakovich-Carr. Just wonderful to be with you all today. I was glad that I was able to make it to Annapolis for opening day and to see many of you. I join you today in my new role as the Council President, and I'm glad to be with you and look forward to this session. As we've been discussing, we know we have a great deal of challenges and unknowns in the upcoming year with the new occupant of the White House, the state budget crisis, and a number of other unknowns we don't know about at the moment. In the county, we have always really appreciated the partnership with our delegation and the work that you all have done with us. I want to update you on a couple of things that the council has been working on and areas that we hope to partner with all of you in the upcoming session. First, as the county exec mentioned, I want to talk about our public schools and the blueprint. I know all of you will be looking at and considering alterations to the blueprint in the coming year. For the county, just to know what work we're doing on the council, as you know, the public schools make up a very large percentage of our county budget. And this year, the superintendent presented his budget in December and requested an additional almost $300 million over last year's budget. We have been looking carefully at Montgomery County Public Schools budget on the council as a full council. We started this in the fall and started to do a deep dive in MCPS's budget, really looking at fiscal sustainability moving forward. So we held 2 sessions this fall, one looking at staffing and employee compensation, and the other looking at contractual services. We will be holding another full council session later in January, looking at the blueprint for, as you all are doing that as well. So we know that for our schools in Montgomery County, while our enrollments have stayed pretty flat over the last few years, we know the complex needs of our families and our students have really increased, and we need to meet that need. So we're looking at how to do that with the revenues we have here in Montgomery County. And we understand that as you look at the blueprint, we really want to be a partner to make sure, as Speaker Jones said on opening day, that we are protecting our students and our families and the promises we made to them. The next area, as the county exec talked about, is BRT and how essential building our infrastructure is. We want to really thank the delegation and the state for the support they've given to us advancing BRT. I believe that what was sent to you was a 1-pager that our Department of Transportation put together so that you can see the progress that we are making on BRT. 2 projects I just want to uplift is the Veer Mills Road BRT. The money that we've received has been promised to us from the state has been put to good use as we're moving forward, particularly leveraging federal dollars for this. And construction is going to commence this year. And this project is really one about connecting Montgomery College in Rockville and Wheaton. And so this is really about building infrastructure to connect people in our community to their education opportunities, to their jobs, and to where they live. The other BRT project I want to highlight is Maryland 355, and that is in the design build procurement phase. And we're really moving forward with that as well because of the support from the state. And for us to continue this project and the others highlighted in that 1-pager, we really do need the continued support of the state on that. While we have challenges, I feel like we also have many opportunities to work together. As you may know, each year the council president's office usually moves forward with an initiative to highlight a specific issue area in the county. This year, I will be highlighting mental health and looking at what we're doing in the county as a county government with our partners, including the state. I particularly want to thank you all for the support and let you know that our first day back in full council session on Tuesday, we will be approving receipt of the $2.7 million in state grants to help cover the operational and staffing needs of 988 hotline services. And I just want to thank you all for that work, and particularly thank Vice Chair Shetty for helping get that money to us. On a related issue, I know you all will be taking up, and it's something that was in our priorities letter we sent to you in the fall, is the emergency room wait times in the state and in particular in Montgomery County. And we really look forward to partnering with you all on that and figuring out how we can reverse course on that. We know from hearing from the governor that you all will continue work on housing and addressing our housing crisis. We know this is an all hands on deck issue, and we are here to partner with you on that. Also on climate change, I do want to give an update that on the building energy performance standards, we're moving forward on the regulations in Montgomery County. Our Transportation and Environment Committee will be taking that up again the end of January. And I am optimistic that that is going to be before the full council and be finalized this winter or early spring. On Monday, we begin taking up and looking at local bills, and so we'll be available to you all to help weigh in and support all of your work on behalf of the residents in Montgomery County and the state of Maryland. And I just want to thank you all for your work, and we are here to help face the challenges ahead and take advantage of the opportunities. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Members, if you have questions, please use the raise hand function. And I know Zoom has updated in recent months. It is under the React button, which currently looks like a heart. But we do have Delegate Kaufman ready to go. So Delegate Kaufman, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. County Executive and Madam President. My questions are for the County Executive, although Madam President, you're welcome to chime in. What I wanted to, and I want to make clear to the people watching on YouTube, that I understand that the federal government has supremacy in this area, so you're limited in what you can do. But in my view, the president-elect is xenophobic. So what are we doing as much as we can? What are you planning to do to protect our undocumented neighbors, as much realizing you're limited in what you can do? And the second thing is, have you had your the Office of Budget and Management or others look at what the economic impact would be for Montgomery County if the president-elect succeeds in his desire to deport millions of undocumented immigrants?
We're beginning to look at the impacts. That one in itself is a really hard one to assess, because we don't exactly know who's documented working where in the county, because we don't keep that kind of information. Actually, one of the things the county tries to do is not know the names and identity of people who are undocumented, because if we know them, that's accessible to the federal government. So a lot of what we've done over the years is we give money to the nonprofits to do various useful things for us. And nonprofits can collect names, and they're immune from the federal government in a way that the county government is not immune. So there's some limitations on what we know. We're looking at what we think federal impacts are. We looked at the total number of jobs in the county. We don't know how many we could lose, but I can tell you the impact's substantial. If you lost 10,000 workers, which would be I think a small number, and they had $150,000 income, you're talking about a ton of income in the county that would disappear, and not to mention the ancillary impacts on the economy and the housing market. The undocumented workers, I mean, I picture, they'd have a very hard time staffing many restaurants, many service facilities, construction sites could find themselves hard to staff. There's just not a non-immigrant workforce that is heavily present, and there's not a lot of unemployed non-immigrants that are out there. We have a pretty low unemployment rate who could pop in and take these jobs. So it would have serious impact, I think, on the operation of many businesses in Montgomery County. I think the thing we're trying to figure out, and we're getting legal advice on this, is this notion that anything you do to protect people could constitute harboring, and harboring is a violation of the law. And we got that nasty letter from, what is it, America First League, whatever they are, the one that threatened I think all the county executives and various governors around the country. They have a very extreme view of what the law means. They literally have asserted that a person who is legal today but entered illegally can be deported even though they've been legalized. So I have no idea where this is going to go, but we're worried about it. But they make very broad assertions about what harboring means. And I know we talked briefly with Anthony Brown yesterday. We're trying to get higher level legal advice on where we really are vulnerable. But I think we're vulnerable on a number of things.
Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Kaufman. Colleagues, any other questions? Don't see any other virtual or in-person raised hands. So we will thank our special guests for being here today. We look forward to continuing to work with you over the course of the session. So thank you again.
Thank you.
And our next item of business, we have two bill hearings, starting with the Metro Washington Area Committee. I will turn it over to Chair Miraku North for the hearing on MCPG 114-25.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We're now commencing the hearing on MCPG 11425, and I believe Delegate Holmes is still with us. So calling on Delegate Holmes to start his testimony. And as you know, Delegate Holmes, you have unlimited time to speak. So the floor is yours.
Thank you so very much for allowing me to present this bill to you. I will not take much time. This bill is a bill specific only to Prince George's County. And what this bill does is allows jurisdictions of a population of 15,000 persons or more with additional qualifications to start doing their own zoning and permitting processes. The bill requires that any municipality of 15,000 persons or more must have a department that consists of a professional, PE, a professional engineer, a land surveyor, a landscape architect, or a licensed certified planner. And within that department, with one of those, at least one of those professionals, the department must also have support staff. What the bill does not allow, specifically, it does not allow the municipality to amend the zoning law or adopt any municipal zoning laws or general plans or master plans. And in a nutshell, Madam Chair, that's what the bill does. You're on mute.
Apologize. Do my colleagues have any questions on the bill?
I do have a question. I just can't find the raise hand function.
Okay, I was just going to make that prompt, but go ahead, Delegate Kaiser.
Thank you, Delegate Miraku North, and hope you're feeling better.
Almost.
Excellent. Delegate Holmes, two distinctly different questions, one simpler than the other. One, how many municipalities does this apply to? And two, where is your county government on this bill?
The municipalities that are comply with this requirements are very few at the present time, primarily because of the professional requirement. One of the things that we are considering is that the municipalities can join together to hire the professional staff that is required within the legislation. The Prince George's County authorities thus far are not in particularly favor of the bill, but they haven't seen the amendments yet.
So how many municipalities? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that number.
I don't know the exact number at this point because we are placing another amendment on the bill that allows these municipalities to share these professional staff. If you're talking about those persons, those jurisdictions, municipalities of 15,000 or more, as I recall, it's about 6 of them.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Checking the hand raise, and for those that do not know where it is, it's under the react button. Okay, seeing none, that concludes the hearing on MC 11425. And thank you, Delegate Holmes, for joining us this morning.
Thank you so very much. Have a good morning.
Thank you too.
Thank you, Chair Miraku North. So next we will turn to the Economic Development Committee to Chair Foley for another bill hearing. Chair Foley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And this morning we're hearing Bill MC 18-25, which is a bill that would allow the same person to hold more than one of a specific kind of alcohol license. And for that, I turn to Delegate Joe Vogel to present the bill. Delegate Vogel, you have unlimited time. Delegate Vogel has 2 witnesses, and so I'm going to suggest that we go through the entire testimony and then we'll take questions from the delegation. Delegate Vogel, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chair. And props to my district mate and our chair, Blagovich Carr. We've made it through the county executive, county council president, and two bills in 27 minutes. So no small task there. I'm here with MC 1825, which was brought to me by a constituent. I believe they will be on the call today. It addresses restrictions on the number of alcoholic beverage licenses that one business may hold, allowing for a second BWL license with certain restrictions. Those restrictions are that for a person to hold a second Class BWL license, they can only sell private label products manufactured for the business. This legislation is in response to a business in my district looking to be able to expand its operations and facing a restriction because of the limits in licenses. So with that, Madam Chair, thank you for the time, and I will turn it over to the witnesses.
Thank you, Delegate Vogel. I will now call on Jennifer Lesnia. And Jennifer, you have 2 minutes. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for taking the time to hear the testimony for the proposition of MC 1825. My name is Jennifer Lesina, and I'm representing Cooper's Hawk Winery and Restaurant in Piccolo Buco. Currently, there's a state-level license restriction that only allows for the one license. We currently have Cooper's Hawk located in Montgomery County in Rockville. And this restriction prevents us from opening up our other concept called Piccolo Buco within Montgomery County. It's an upscale Italian restaurant featuring Neapolitan dishes and a unique style of pizza that originated in Rome. By passing this proposed update and subsequently allowing us to operate Piccolo Buco, will impact Montgomery County in many positive ways. We would employ up to 90 team members and partner with up to 12 local vendors within the county, generating jobs and revenue for local businesses. One of our company core values is that we care about people. And one of the ways we back that up is by volunteering at local charities and partnering with them on fundraising events throughout the year. We do like to immerse ourselves into the community. It's very important to us that we are a pillar of support wherever we can be. Another core value of our company is that we create community, and this one happens organically. If you've ever been to a Cooper's Hawk, right when you walk in, you find wine club members picking up wine, guests having a wine tasting, and we found that they begin chatting and building friendships, and before you know it, they're meeting monthly wine club dinners and traveling to other locations. So it's just another addition to the community within Montgomery County. We also incorporate a local aesthetic into our designs. We like to reach out to local artists in the community and commission artwork for each location, just to keep the feel of the community integrated into the design of our building. And as far as the financial impact, we plan on spending approximately $4 million on the construction of Piccolo Buco, and we estimate the unit sales to be $7 million a year, with accompanying tax generated by that activity. Currently, there's only 2 Piccolo Bucos in the world. One is by the Trevi Fountain in Rome, and the second is in Downers Grove, Illinois. We have 2 more locations opening in Illinois and 2 upcoming in Florida, and we'd love to find a way to update the current legislation to bring Piccolo Buco to Gaithersburg, Maryland. I thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Lazina, and I'm sorry that I mispronounced your name in the beginning. We now have another Jennifer Gallery, who is testifying in favor of the bill. Jennifer, the floor is yours for 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Gallery. I'm an attorney. We handle the licensing and regulatory work for Cooper's Hawk and Piccolo Buco. I'm just here really to answer questions on the legal side, but to give you a little more insight as to this license classification and the issue with it. Both Cooper's Hawk and Piccolo Buco, the business concept as a whole, has a wine retail components. When you walk into these spaces, you get a feel you're at a winery. There's a retail space as you walk in if you haven't been to one, and there's the company has a very robust wine club. Over 700,000 members nationwide. And so the reason this classification of license is important to my client's business is the package components that allows them to sell their private label wines through their wine club, because wine members come to these restaurants to pick it up. And also, if you're there dining with a group, with your friends, with family, and you have a wine that you like, the wine is available for you to bring home. We feel this legislation is narrowly tailored for this business concept and won't have a detrimental impact on the other package businesses in the county, because this specific legislation will only permit our client to sell their private label wines from this business location. So that's why this classification of license is needed for both concepts, to allow the package privilege component. And we feel that narrowly tailoring it this way just for their private label products will have, the least impact on other retail businesses in the area, while allowing Piccolo Buco and Cooper's Hawk to operate, to their full capacity. But if anyone has any questions on the legal end or licensing end, that's why I'm on the call. So happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Ms. Gallery. And I see that Delegate Kaiser has found the raise hand button. Anybody else who would like to ask a question, please do the same. Delegate Kaiser.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, traffic slowed down. I found the button. My question is for you, Delegate Vogel, or potentially Ms. Griffin from Department of Liquor Control, if she is here. Have we attempted to do this in the past, and do you know what the rationale against it was? It certainly seems like this bill is positive for economic development, and so I'm just trying to figure out why we haven't done something like this before.
Delegate Vogel? Delegate Vogel?
Madam Chair, I think Delegate Vogel had to hop off the call for a moment. His Chief of Staff is here, Mateo, if you.
Oh, Mateo, do you have an answer for that, for Delegate Kaiser's question?
Yes, hello, Chairwoman Foley and Delegate Kaiser. Thanks for the question. We will get back to you on that. We'll reach out to the Attorney General and then respond to your question.
Sorry about that. I was muted. Delegate Kaiser, do you have a follow-up, or are you good with that answer? Guess yes. Okay. Delegate.
Yeah, I am. I was just scrolling through the list of people. I didn't see Ms. Griffin here. I just love to hear the history a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Delegate Vogel's office will get that for you. Delegate Merrick North.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This question is for the Jennifers. I noticed Cooper Hawks Winery is also located in Virginia. Do they have a similar piece of legislation or law that allows Cooper to sell their own privately branded wine?
The licensing, the liquor code in Virginia is different. They allow restaurants that have a full liquor license to add on a retail package beer and wine license for any business. So there is no special legislation needed, because the existing statutory structure allows for their business model to exist there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Delegate Corman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mateo, this is kind of a question / a request. It just doesn't seem like we've gotten any input from Alcohol Beverage Services, ABS, what Delegate Kaiser referred to as Department of Liquor Control. So have you all reached out to them? And if not, can you do that so we can get their kind of input about how best to craft this?
Yes, we'll reach out promptly, and then I'll update you and Delegate Kaiser regarding this information.
Thanks so much.
And just if I can add into it, it was the liquor department in Montgomery County and the legislative services there through their commission that helped us to start this process with Delegate Vogel's office. So there are two representatives we were working with at Montgomery County who, when we approached them with this concept, appeared to me to be supportive of it and advised us on the process to go about changing the legislation. So I'm happy to send those contacts to Mateo if he doesn't have them, but they are certainly aware of the situation, and they're the ones that directed us here.
Yeah, thank you. Our county council is doing their reviews of state legislation a little bit differently this year, and so that might be why we don't have Amy or Kathy or Melanie, who I don't know.
Those are the two.
Participating here, because normally they would be, helping us guide through this. So Mateo, thanks for following up on that.
Yep.
Thank you. And also, Delegate Corman, I have also reached out to Amy, and we're in discussions. She's waiting to hear from the county council and actually the county executive on this bill. So, so we'll follow up on that. Thank you. Are there any other questions from the delegation for the sponsor or the panel? Seeing none, Madam Chair, that concludes the hearing on MC 1825. I turn it back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Foley. And just for our listening public, as a reminder, the bill hearings are just the first step in our process of considering local and bi-county bills. So all the bills that we heard today, as well as the bills we heard in December, have all been referred to one of our 4 local committees. And at the end of the meeting today, our committee chairs will be making announcements about when their first work sessions will be. The agendas for those tend to get posted a day or 2 in advance. So if people are tracking particular bills, you can look on our delegation website, or even better, sign up for the email alerts from our delegation administrator that'll keep you informed of when all of these bills are being heard. So that said, our last item on our agenda today is a voting session. And as a reminder, colleagues, you do need to be on camera to be recorded as voting. So have about a minute or 2 here while I'm going to describe what we're going to be voting on today, but just giving you that warning so that you have an opportunity to get on camera. So we have one bill that I'm hoping that our delegation will take a position on today, HB 18, Noise Abatement Monitoring Systems Pilot Program, Inspection and Extension. This is a bill that I'm sponsoring. I will note this is actually a statewide bill per bill drafting, although it does only impact Montgomery and Prince George's counties. And colleagues, you may recall that last session, we voted unanimously to support the precursor legislation to this bill that enabled our county and Prince George's County to create a pilot program to use noise cameras to automatically detect and ticket excessively loud vehicles that say have a souped up engine or an illegally modified exhaust system. And our county and Prince George's have actually the county councils have been very busy over this past year enacting their local ordinances and are now at the point of going through the procurement process and selecting sites for these cameras to be installed. So all told, it's probably going to be about a year before the first camera gets deployed in either county, is my best guess at this point. And the legislation that we passed last session only enabled a 2-year pilot. So we're coming back this year to give some additional time to the counties to extend that pilot by an additional 2 years. And then the bill also does make a technical correction. The legislation we passed last year forgot to include basically an exemption for the tickets that are generated by these systems from the Maryland Public Information Act. And I'll say that that exemption exists for speed cameras and red light cameras and the other automated enforcement technologies that we already use in the state. So asking for the delegation's support today for when this bill gets heard in the standing committee in a few weeks so that we can get a letter prepared. Let me see if there's any questions before we take a motion. Okay, I don't see any
So
questions.
moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Delegate Kaufman. Is there a motion, a second for the motion to support the legislation? Seconded by Delegate Spiegel. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none. Again, please be on camera if you'd like to be recorded as voting. All those in favor of.
I'm having camera troubles, but I'm trying. So
okay, and we hear
hold
your
on.
voice, Delegate Kaufman. So we'll note that. We'll verify that we know that that's you. So all those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
For a moment, just so we can let our staff record everybody. Okay, that looks like it's unanimous. Well, anyone opposed? I think I saw every single person's hand up. Okay, thank you all. We have voted to support HB 18. Appreciate your support there. Next, let me turn to our committee chairs and see if any of our committee chairs have announcements about their first meetings of the session.
Madam Chair.
Chair Foley.
Thank you. Yes. The Economic Development Committee will meet Thursday at 8:30 a.m. on Zoom, and we will be I anticipate we will be voting on at least one bill.
Thank you, Chair Foley. Chair Spiegel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Land Use, Transportation, and Public Safety Committee will be meeting Monday, January 13th at noon by Zoom.
Chair Ziegler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Education, Elections, and Housing Committee will be meeting on Thursday, January 16th at noon on Zoom.
Thank you. And Chair Miracle North.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Metro Washington Area Committee will be meeting by Zoom on January 13th at 6:30. Stay tuned for the details. It will be a working session, but stay tuned for the details on the particular bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other announcements from any members of the delegation? Okay, seeing none. So that is it for today. Our next meeting will be next Friday, January 17th, likely at 9 a.m. In general, members, please hold 9 to 11 a.m. On Fridays for our meetings. As we get closer to each meeting, we may adjust those times slightly, especially if we're anticipating a shorter meeting. But again, all of that will be posted on the website for the public and for those who want to tune in on our live stream. So with that, we are adjourned, everyone. Thank you.